Oh, somebody just said Marky Mark.
What
Tanisha
up? What up?
Robinson.
What up?
So I guess for me, I'm gonna take a friend. She never.
What up?
So I guess the thing becomes looking at
Man, everybody was like, Mark, don't set it off today.
I hope you don't.
I promise I'm not gonna set it off.
I hope you're not, because you know how I act when you act like that.
Yeah, I don't want to set it off.
So don't do it because you know how I act. Don't set it
I
off.
won't set it off.
Well, please, thank you. Be kind to my
Be kind.
viewers. My
Be
show
kind.
is like a really nice show. But I want you to be Mark, because every time we are together, we are ourselves.
We are ourselves. That's true.
Correct. I do not want you to be anything less than what you're normal.
You don't want the television stiff shirt.
No, I need you to be you. I need you to be like you are when we banter back and forth. But let me welcome everybody in. Welcome to Real Talk with LMJ. This is LaKisha Johnson, your host, and my special guest this afternoon is Mark Edwards.
That dude
who has been a friend of mine for a really, really long time. News personality, definitely has his own brand, has his own podcast show. I'm gonna let him talk to you a little bit about that in just a second. But welcome to Real Talk with LMJ. Our topic for today is dating, relationships, and social media. And I know you've been writing on this.
Man.
I know we talk about this all the time.
We do. It's part of I'm thinking about adding a chapter to my book.
About this.
About this.
Just about this alone.
Just about this alone, because this has become such a huge piece of life right now.
It is. I agree. I totally agree. It was funny because I asked you about Facebook and you were like, I'm not on Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook.
You're only on Twitter and Instagram.
That's it.
Okay. So why'd you get rid of Facebook?
Man, I think for several reasons. One, I really actually stopped using Facebook. I was never really hardly on Facebook. Once I learned about Twitter, Twitter's about information. It's about what people know. I know the first time I actually started to think about to delete my Facebook was when Whitney Houston died.
Yes.
Because I was getting ready to go for the newscast. We had a 6 o'clock newscast that day. It was about 4 o'clock, and I had been on Twitter, and it was some rumblings on Twitter from some of my friends on the West Coast that Whitney Houston died.
Yes.
And I walked into our news director, and I remember going, has anybody heard anything about Whitney Houston dying?
Yeah.
I heard she just died.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, no. National media would have picked up on it.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything. As soon as the 6 o'clock newscast was over, boom.
Whitney Houston
Houston's died. And I knew then I'm in the wrong for. I need quicker information. I need to know now, and Twitter.
Because you do need that in media. You do need that in news. So we have to start how I start every show with who is Mark Edwards. Like I hit every one of my guests up. Who is Mark Edwards?
Well, Mark Edwards is a personality on television. I like to use Mark Edwards to do more of the things that probably I wouldn't do as my regular self, my real name, my government name. Now, there are relatives out there who will call me by my first, middle, and last name.
Yes.
And when they do that, then wherever I am or whatever I'm doing, I stop.
Yes.
But Mark Edwards is a personality, loves life, tries his best to, always tries to play the middle and put two sides. I'm devil's advocate, so if you're a good side, I'll be the bad side. If you're the bad side, I'll be the good side. Just to play devil's advocate to see where things are, not necessarily how I feel about anything, because I never put personal stuff into anything that I do.
And you're a dad.
I'm a dad.
You're definitely a dad. You're definitely a very involved and good dad. I've seen you be dad, so that's cool.
My oldest son wouldn't say that.
Okay, that's fine.
He's mad at me, right?
We'll be okay with that. They get mad at us. They fall in and out. So today, if you're just logging on or you're just tuning into the podcast, we are Real Talk with LMJ, and we're talking about dating, relationships, and social media. And I'm glad you and I are talking about this because we banter about life and relationships. Both of you have been married before, us before. I don't know his dating status. I'm gonna say I'm single, and so in this,
I'm good. I'm comfortable where I am.
You see what he said? He didn't allude to what it was.
I am seeing it. I'm like, okay, there we go.
Okay, shush. Anyway, so you don't have to put your business out there. So I'm single. We both been single before. I mean, I'm just saying out there. But just the level of where social media and how social media impacts the relationships, and I think it's like for dating, for marriage, but I think even for family. Right now, social media has been what I've needed for ministry, but I've also feel like sometimes social media is just, man, it just does a lot and impacts relationships way more negatively than it should. It takes way too much weightiness. Like people put too much weightiness on it.
Way too much.
People, I think, assume they understand or get you from social media.
So true.
I used to talk more about my singleness. I don't anymore. Like I took all my Dear Future King post off, my personal information about where I was. I'm just saying, and I did it, and the reason that I did it was because people were starting to assume some things about me. It's bad. I mean, it's enough that I preach. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a woman boss. I already feel like I get enough. But people were starting to assume some things about me by just some certain posts I was writing. And I was like, you know what? I don't care what people think, but at the same time, I need to leave this where this at. And I want to leave my single walk, my relationships, my dating very personal, very private. And so I just made a decision to remove all of that from my Facebook page, to make it more personal. I'll share those things at Pillow Talks and my other events that I do for women. But I don't want that attached to social media anymore, because I want that journey and that particular part of my life personal, very private. And I want people to stop assuming. I want to assume, you know what I'm saying, things about me, because people assume things about your personality or your relationship. Like somebody told me, they were like, oh, I know you can't be submissive. And I said, how did you gauge that from social media?
Because they watched your social media, and because of what they saw, they felt like because of how you portray yourself, that you couldn't be possibly that way.
Because I'm strong.
Because you're strong.
But strong doesn't equal that you're
Strong
not. That does not mean you can't be submissive.
It does not mean that.
Okay, but that's what they interpret.
Right, because people get to a point where they read social media. It's so much. It's almost like a book now. You actually turn to somebody's page and you start looking at it. And in all honesty, I'm guilty of it myself. If I go on your page and I see a lot of selfies, first thing I'm gonna say is, wow.
What does that mean? I don't have a lot of selfies.
You must really like yourself. You know? I just don't do a lot of selfies.
Yeah.
I can tell you from.
But you and I both brand and represent brands and represent business. So our posts and things that we do are more geared to the population we want to tap into.
Right.
Yeah.
But because at that particular point, though, it's about business. It's about work related. It's about what I do for a living. And let me tell you, when you live in the spotlight, like I have for a while.
Yes.
People already people already feel like they know you.
Yes.
They feel like they can say stuff to you whether or not they don't like you. And that was always a part of keeping my professional life professional and my private life private.
Private, yes.
Because I remember doing sports. I was telling somebody about this the other day. I remember doing sports, and this is a quick little story. ASU football team had beat Texas A&M in Texas and down in Collegeville, in College Station, and nobody could get highlights out of there.
Yes.
But because it was such a big thing, I led off the sportscast that particular day.
Okay.
Talking about it.
Yes.
I just put up a scoreboard.
Yes.
Then I went on and did highlights of some other games, and I had a guy call me from Jonesboro and leave me a message. Man, I hope I never see you in Jonesboro because I know what you look like.
And he's going to get you because of what you put up.
He felt like I should have put highlights of the game up, not knowing it was literally impossible at that time, back then,
for you to do
highlights that quick.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get them for the 10 o'clock. And when you're doing it, the people in College Station were so upset that Texas A&M lost.
Yes.
They sent 10 great plays from Texas A&M. One touchdown from ASU.
College Station.
So you get what you get when back then you got what you got. But he felt enough to threaten me. And if you're gonna threaten me, then and he's right. You know what I look like, and if I post a lot of pictures on social media, you know what my family looks like.
Yeah.
See, I don't need that, so I just kind of keep that.
So why, like, you've been in news, you've been in media for a long time, and I'm Facebook, the platform, using them, I'm all for it. I think the user is often the problem on social media, like the person that uses. But I've seen things get too personal. I've seen things get taken out of context. I've seen people go into war, have fights. I think if it's going to be used as a social platform, I'm all for it.
Right.
But when we start getting into personal
dating,
when we start getting into dating, when we start getting into your marriage, when we start getting into your relationships, this is when this gets shaky. This is when this gets consuming. This is when this gets overwhelming.
Yes.
And validation, social media has become we're looking for way too much validation on social media, based on the many likes we may get that day. We may feel like we're winning. Well, what happens the next day when you post something and no one likes what you're saying?
Or, on that note, I have a friend, she's a reporter. We took a picture at a NABJ function. She posted it on her page. Because it didn't get over 100 likes in 15 minutes.
She took it down?
She took it down.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
So you're only putting things up that get over 100 likes.
That you want likes for.
Like, what are you doing it for? And she came to me and was like, hey, Mark, I always looked up to you in the business. Can I take a picture? I was like, yeah, take a picture. We lean in, we take the picture.
And then she pulls the picture down.
She pulls the picture down and said, I didn't get but 60 likes on it in 10 minutes. I was like, okay, is that
and the whole thing, and that's been the reality of what we're seeing now. It's becoming consuming. I looked at some stats. We were looking at some stats, and it showed where 24% of people say or believe that social media impacts relationships. I think the numbers are higher. I think they probably need to reevaluate that. I think more people need to be honest about their usage of social media. I know my phone allows me to see how much social media I'm using. Instagram now has a thing where it'll shut you down. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
You can limit your Instagram usage and put an alert up, and it'll tell you you've been on Instagram long enough to shut down. So there are things in control, but I just think that especially where relationships are concerned, social media is becoming the death of some of our relationships, just like texting. I don't want to text you all day, and we are even just friends. Like, and I love to text, but I've realized how things get miscommunicated in a text.
It's hard to understand that.
I realize how unclear we can be in a text. Yeah. And so I want to get into just a few things more about this social media and dating. A thought was brought up. Our relationship is proven or validated when you post me on social media. And what do you say to that?
Listen.
Our relationship is proven or validated when you post me on social media.
Your relationship is validated when you two agree to be together. It's validated.
That's real.
If both of you guys spend time with each other and do things with each other, who really cares about what's posted and what's not posted?
Yeah.
It's not going to take anything away or put anything forward. When it gets to a point, I think relationships are hard enough.
Yes.
There's two people trying to be one.
Already. That's difficult within itself.
That's difficult already within itself.
Trying to feel each other out.
Trying to figure each other out. And now everything else is weights. So
that's good, Mark.
When you got weights in the relationship and you put things like, now we got to learn how to do this together. We got to learn this, and we're different here. So those are all weights on your relationship. When you add in the social media, now I have to try to, when I see the Joneses take Christmas pictures.
Then I got to take Christmas pictures?
Now we got to take Christmas pictures because the Joneses took Christmas pictures, and we want to make sure everybody thinks and looks at us and says, oh, you guys are so cute.
But the reality becomes,
too much.
So I'm going to rev up and be a little controversial. I have seen people post like their relationship is on point. Yeah. And I know for a fact that their relationship is in a crisis. And you know I'm the queen of being positive. Yes. Right? Because I stay on you about being positive. You know I'm the queen of being positive. But I think it is false. It is so horrible when you post like your relationship is just in this good space, and then I know, or I see you out, or y'all all together, and all this lovey-dovey stuff and all this false perception. Because in my head, and it's just personally, who are you trying to prove something?
Who do you feel like you have to impress in order for things to be okay?
Correct.
It's an insecurity issue.
Yes.
You feel you're so insecure in yourself and so insecure in your relationship and what you do that you need someone else's approval. And everybody else's approval comes in the forms of like.
Yes.
They come in the forms of the little hearts that
come
they
on
put
now
up on Facebook.
Yes.
You don't need those type of reinforcement. What you need is the reinforcement from your partner. As long as I get the validation from you, I don't really care what other people are saying.
But what if someone says to you, then you're hiding me if you're not posting me on social media?
I'm not hiding.
What if someone says then you're hiding me? See, for me, just based on where life has been for me, how God has been growing Coffee and Conversations, the podcast, for me, I'm not hiding you.
Right.
I'm protecting you.
That's a good point.
That for me, I'm protecting you. There are only so many things I share about my kids, right? I just took Thanksgiving pictures with my whole family. I never posted a picture. You know why I didn't? Because this moment I wanted to remain personal.
For you.
2 of my grandsons just had birthdays. I didn't post them. Why? Because I wanted that to remain personal.
That's yours.
You know, that was my intimate moment.
That's your intimate moment with them, and you should be able to keep that moment. But a lot of people feel like that. Going back to the hiding
and that's
thing,
just me personally.
Going back to the hiding thing, well, I look at it as you're being hidden. I tell people all the time, I'm in the public eye. Everywhere I go, somebody says, I know you from somewhere. They stop me. They want to talk to me. They want to ask me a question about the Razorbacks. They want to ask me a question about whatever. And so, trust me, if you're with me, there's no hiding done whatsoever.
I was in Pine Bluff eating lunch in a little space back by the airport. The lady comes up to me and says, I know you from somewhere. And I said, you do? She said, yeah. She said, Coffee and Conversation. I was in Atlanta at a basketball game, sitting on a bench. And somebody walked up to me and said, I know you. And I said, you do? And she was like, yes. And so that's the truth. And so I made a decision a few weeks ago that from here on out, dating is very personal. Yeah. And there are just some aspects of my personal life I'm just not sharing anymore because I want that journey to be very personal. Yeah. Like when I show up married, it's going to be because y'all see a dash hyphen at the end of my name. Right. You feel me? Like that's how I feel about it. That's how I so feel about it now. I don't want it to be public anymore. And I was a little bit more public about it. Mm-hmm. I'm not there anymore. I don't want to be there anymore.
Take the weights off.
And it has helped me too.
It'll teach you a lot of things. I mean, you look at my social media page. I put when I'm doing photo shoots for work. Yeah. I may post a picture of Justin. I think everybody knows Justin.
Yeah.
I may post a picture of Justin in baseball. I may post a picture of Jaden. But that's it. I generally just try to keep everything private. My private life will be private.
Because the other and it needs, I think it has to be, and I think we have to choose some method of disclosure and some method of keeping something for ourselves. Mm-hmm. Also, if we're in the position where we're looking for social media to validate us, and I want to be clear here, I'm not talking about internet dating, because I want somebody to say, you can't date via the internet. It's been some great relationships. I have a cousin, they're in their 18-year marriage after meeting online.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you don't meet someone online. I'm not saying don't use social or dating websites. We're not saying that. We're saying when social media has taken over the relationship or social media has become the point of reference. I have, and it doesn't, like, I have some friends who have marriage ministries or things, so they post a little bit more about being a couple and those things. And I feel like they need to because that's part of their brand.
Part of their brand.
Does that make sense? That's part of their brand. When that's your brand, those are the things that you do put on display. Right. But for the rest of us, your dating status or your relationship shouldn't be validated based on the fact that I post you or not.
Because your relationship is validated because if that person is spending time with you, if that person is doing things, it makes you feel good about who you are, you make them feel good about who they are. Who really cares what the outside world thinks? And that is, I think it's a generational thing. I talked to a friend of mine that I work with yesterday, and she was telling me about how she has this boyfriend, and she looks at his page every day to see who he's liking.
Wait. She looks at his page every day
to see who
he's liked.
Because then she goes to those pages
and looks at those
to
girls.
See what those pictures, see what the girls, see what the. And I said, so wait a minute, let me get this straight. So if he likes a picture with a girl that's pretty, you question that. Yes.
Why does she question?
That's what she said.
This is
I
funny.
said, so what happens if you like a picture with a couple of your friends? You know, you don't question it. Oh no, you don't question that. Oh wait a minute, I thought we were questioning everything on social media. So see, to me, you're looking for things. You have to feel like you have to go out there and look for things to find a reason. Again, to add more weights to your relationship, and your relationship doesn't need that much weight.
Nor can your relationship
stand that much
weight.
Yeah.
You said something significant. It's already the pressure of getting to know. It's already, if you've watched me on social media, you've assumed that you know me, or you assume that you understand me, or you get me. And if that becomes your baseline judgment for the relationship, then I'm never given a fair opportunity.
Never.
To date, to be seen, to be heard, or whatever.
Never.
And so,
because you think you know me based off what somebody said, based off how many times you've liked this person's page. Really, I didn't even know that.
Well, it's funny for me because people, if you're not in my intimate circle, people are like, you're so busy. But everybody who knows me knows my most busyness is with Judah and Josiah. You know, and so it's funny when people are like, oh no, you're all over the place. I'm like, don't let my social media make you think I'm all over the place. Because when I shut down, when we leave here, I got to go check my mama's house. Because you know what I'm saying? I mean, I got to go check on my mom. I got to leave checking on my mom. I got to pick up a sweatshirt for Josiah. And then I got to go home. You know what I'm saying? And then I got to make sure dinner is ready for them. And so it gives us so many false perceptions of even what healthy relationships is. And because you see someone post that they're happy, does not mean they're happy.
It's not the
That's
case.
bull.
And when you see pictures of perfect, I always laugh when I see the perfect pictures because the first thing I think is, wow, man, her teeth are really white.
Yes.
Wow, look at the lighting on him, man.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm starting to think, wow, that's a
imaging.
really manufactured picture. Do you have apps? And I'm gonna tell you something else.
Because apps changed the game right now.
Apps changed the game. Let me tell you something else. Filters.
Filters change the game right now.
When you're at a point where every picture you have,
you have to filter. Then what?
You're masking something. You're hiding something.
That's good.
You don't like who you are.
Yeah,
that's just my personal perception.
That's good.
I always post, if I put a picture up, I put a picture up of me at that particular moment, doing whatever I'm doing. But I hate filters. I hate people who have to take pictures. I had a friend that.
Now I do use them if I'm looking too pale. If I need to post something and I'm looking pale, I might put a little bit of the sunshine on.
Every
picture. Yeah, I like the rawness.
Filter. All the little ears, the bunny ears.
And so what do we so, and we see this, and then you brought up a big point of stalking a person's page, or adjusting or looking at a person's page, or watching how many likes. I remember when I was seeing somebody for a minute. Everybody knows I'm going to do two things when I comment. I'm throwing a kiss and a heart. That's significant. Every time I drive, I blow kisses and I throw a heart. It's just part of my trademark. It's just part of who I am. Right. Somebody made a comment on a picture. I blew a kiss, and this has been a while ago. And this guy that I was seeing said, I didn't even know he watched my social media.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, I found that out too. I also found out that social media, people watch your social media and try to gauge you in life by that, instead of reaching out to you personally, instead of you asking you out personally, or personally asking you about things you post. People stalk your social media pages and use that to gauge where you are in life, and it's just so incorrect. Social media is the opportunity and chance for anybody to be fake.
And most of the times, anytime you see something on there that looks almost too perfect, it probably is fake.
Or even not even validating the information. I've seen people share stuff on social media that isn't even true, right? You know, like or the post is from 10 years ago, or it was a made-up post. And you know, bad journalism, and I don't even want to get up into that. But looking at the opportunities. Okay, I sent you an article, remember? And in the article, the woman the woman gets upset with her husband, and because he doesn't post her on his Facebook page.
Right.
Because she's more into their relationship, more exhibiting. She's seen other people, and they get into a fallout argument about whether or not he posted her on the page.
So now your relationship is here, where you're getting something out of it. You enjoy it. He enjoys it. You're fine with everything. And now you bring the social media element into it. And you add that weight to it. And now I got to look at somebody else's page and say, well, they're doing this.
Yes.
They're doing that. He's doing this. Well, now you're bringing something into it that's just adding weight to your relationship. I understood that post.
Yeah.
Because I don't post a lot on social media.
Yeah.
Rarely post. And when you try to make me post, see, I think it's too much energy to have to, now I got to wake up every day. I got to add to my day that I need to check my page, see if you've tagged me in anything.
Yes.
I need to check your page to see
That's
if
too
you
much.
posted a picture so I can know to like it. And I don't know all the etiquette that comes with it.
Me either.
And
I've been in violation. I didn't know blowing kissy
kissy
faces was like flirting and stuff. Like I've been in violation in so many ways. Yeah, I haven't been able, like even though I'm on social media, so like the etiquette of I'm just not well versed in. When the song dropped, It Goes Down in the DM. You know, I had to go back and really look at the realities behind. It does go down in the DM. I've received some very interesting things in the DM. I've had to set the baseline of this is what you're allowed to message me in my DM.
See, it's funny because I've heard people say that. I've never really got anything inappropriate.
I've not got anything inappropriate. It's just been aggressiveness sometimes. Does that make sense? Like
I understand that.
Aggressive in dating and aggressive. I'm not comfortable with internet dating. Where someone else is, like if somebody, I'm just talking about my personal, I'm not comfortable with someone asking me out via internet unless I know them.
Right.
But some strange person inboxing me saying, hey, can we have coffee? I'm not somebody else may be comfortable with it. I'm just saying I'm not comfortable.
That's true.
I'm not comfortable. And I've had people be like, well, can I take you to dinner? And I'm like, I don't know if you crazy.
Right.
I don't know if you nuts.
And you have to
I don't
be
know
aware
if
of
you
that.
deranged. I don't know who you are. And you have to be aware of that. And we assume because of a particular thing, then this looks right on social media, and it doesn't really look like. Somebody said something like that of public attention in their relationships. But after being married, as long as I was married, and a healthy marriage, I always tell people all the time, my husband left me, I ain't leave with this was no divorce, right? After being in a healthy marriage, we rarely posted about each other. We would subtly make posts, but if it was about because I was in his polo socks, right? And what I've learned, if you're gonna help keep your relationship healthy, you better keep people out your relationship. You better keep people out your relationship. And then if you're gonna post all your great things on Facebook, post you want to grab the back of their hair. You know what I'm saying? When you mad, you ain't got no ever be grab. But I'm just saying, post the time that you really wanted to pop him in the back of his head as well, and say today ain't no good day.
I always say, you know, if I see a photo that is just a photo of a moment that's captured, that's one thing. Anything that's manufactured, when you're sitting up there and you're going, you know, you're manufacturing that moment. If it's a natural moment and you guys smile, that's one particular thing. Those are the moments that I like to see captured. If it's anything else, I always feel like it's manufactured.
Yeah, and it becomes too much. Somebody said on here, impressing everybody but not one another.
Right. That's the key right there.
Or even the amount of time that you spend on social media in a relationship. One of the things, my goal for this year has been practicing being present. Putting my phone up when I'm with people to be present, and that our whole date or whole time together hasn't been me on social media.
Well, let me say this. You know, we both talked about it. We've both been married. My marriage ended in divorce, but a lot of the practices that I had, always on the phone when I'm around, didn't do a lot of this, those are the things that I took for granted then. Now, when I go out, if I go to dinner with you now, and I put my phone face down.
Yeah. Sometimes I even leave mine in the car now.
I'll check it periodically just to see if somebody, if my kids are trying to get in touch with me. But other than that, man, my phone is face down.
Yeah, but people say when your phone is face down that's cheating. Well, I've been told that before because I keep
got cracks all in it.
I keep my phone face down so that I won't pay attention to notifications as well. And someone told me when your phone is flipped over, then that means you have stuff going on. And I'm like, first of all, I don't have nothing going on, and that's insecurity. One of the things that the lady said in the online article was she equated insufficient love. She said that she thought his love for her was insufficient because he didn't post her on because of the insufficiencies of what she was looking for, or what she thought her other friends were getting on Facebook. And it was like, so all of a sudden I don't love you because I'm not posting you, because I'm not validating you, because I'm not telling you how amazing and great you are publicly, but every day at home I'm loving on you, I'm tender with you, I'm trying to give you the best part of me, and you're saying that's not good enough because I haven't made a Facebook post about you.
Got one better than that. I know a friend that, and it's a friend, she actually tried to convince me of this. 5 dates with her. On the 5th date, you need to change your social media status. You need to say involved, because she feels like if she spent that much time with you.
5 dates?
5.
So after the 5th date, your social media status. You can't even get a 6th date until the status is changed. And you need to say you're involved with someone. And you need to say you're involved with her, and she will move forward with the relationship. Then, but what if you don't like her after the 6th date?
You don't. That was my thing. What
if you don't like her after the 6th date? What if after the 6th date you don't like her?
No. 5 dates. At the 5th date, change the status, or there won't be a 6th date. And she can turn it on and turn it off just like that.
That's big. Like that's so big. That's so and like you said, that's so weighty. I don't want the pressure of everybody else in my relationship. I don't want the pressure of everyone else's involved in thoughts. I don't even want the pressure. What if I tag you and nobody liked you but me? And I'm just giving you an example, right?
Yeah.
And anybody else that dated you, you might have been the worst with them, but the best with me. Because people evolve all the time. Yeah. And so you may have been the worst with them, but you're the best with me. So now I've let social media influence
who you are. Now I already have a preconceived notion of
or
who
influenced
you are.
our relationship.
And it's influenced our relationship.
And it's impacted our relationship based on some stuff on social. Well, girl, I'm gonna tell you what happened.
Girl, I heard this.
I went somewhere with someone. I rarely have posted any pictures, you know that, with anybody.
Right.
I tagged this person on the post. I hung out with 2 friends. We were kind of seeing each other or something, I don't know, but we went out. I tagged the picture. Right. It's confusing, that place in my life. I tagged the picture, and he called me and he said, let me tell you what happened after you tagged me in this picture. He said, girls started hitting me up in my DM telling me how nice I looked that has never approached me before. He said that to me. I said, you're kidding me. He said, yes, just because you tagged me in the picture, girls started hitting me that have never approached me. And started hitting me up telling me how good I looked because you tagged me in the picture, but did not make that comment on the post. Didn't comment on the post and say, man, y'all look good, or he looks good, or whatever. I snatched the picture down. I said, you gotta be kidding me.
Here's the thing with that. A lot of times you take a picture, you tag me in your photo. There are gonna be people who, if they feel like this is something going on, there are gonna be people who reach out to me simply because no woman wants anybody that nobody else wants. So the fact is, they think you want me, now they want me too.
But that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, that's as crazy as it comes. That's how it works. That's crazy to count. And then when he told me that, he was like, yeah. And I said, you got to be kidding me.
So when you say, oh, he needs to post a picture of me, that's why that never made sense to me. Well, why won't you post it? When I talked to my coworker, she told me my boyfriend better post a picture of me because I'm going to post a picture of him. And I said, does that deter people from anything? Yeah, well, when other girls see that he has a girlfriend, they generally tend to slack off. And I said, actually, no, it picks up when they know you got a girlfriend. And they get all the nastier girls. So when they know that. That's true.
It's just and I'm like, hey, this right here going on, this is a little strange for me, and this is too involved. And that's why I made the decision probably about a month ago. I said, from here on out, this dating process, whatever it looks like, I have to leave this a very personal part of my life. I do not want social media in this. I do not want people involved in this.
I'm curious what people are saying.
Somebody said they think, oh, if he likes her, he'll like me too. Someone else said some people are about status. Charles Young said every relationship, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, boss, worker, brother, sister, it doesn't matter, no trust. That relationship is going, if there's no trust, that relationship is going to be hard to exist without pain, disappointment, fear, discomfort, and other emotions we shouldn't have to deal with in a loving relationship. And I agree. Trust is the factor. So with that, the big question, should your mate or spouse have access to your social media?
I mean, it wouldn't bother me. I don't have anything on mine.
Yeah.
Most of mine is business related. You want to look at my Twitter, you can look at the tweets I put out. It's not that big a deal. My Instagram, not really all that. I try to keep it private, but I accept everybody.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like you know me from TV, so I just say, okay, cool, here. So I'll let you in, but that's pretty much it.
But if you don't want to give it to that person, then what?
I don't. It's not a situation where I feel like I don't want to give it to you. I don't feel like that should be.
Even
some things should be private, and that to me in my I should have something that's mine that I can keep. I can share everything else, but it should be something that's mine.
Yeah, and when Jermaine and I were married, he didn't have access to my stuff. He never asked for it, right? But he would use my phone, pick my phone up, use my phone all the time. He didn't have access to my stuff, but I had access to his. But the reason I also had access to his because he was sick, right? I since then have never cared about what's in another person's phone, because me having access to your social media, me having access to your phone doesn't ensure that you will be involved or with somebody or not. People delete stuff all the time. That's the dumb stuff part for me. I'm like, I can send a text and delete it all the time. I can use
let me tell you
a different text. I mean, I'm just saying.
On that same note, I have
stupid
group text. Anytime I'm in a group text, I delete.
Yeah.
As soon as I get through with the discussion, I'm deleting all.
People delete stuff out their phone for memory reasons.
I don't need all that clutter.
Yeah.
If it's 2 or 3 people, I'm deleting it all.
Yeah.
If I don't know you, if it's an old number, if I keep the number, I'm probably trying to remember. So if I forget.
Gia said, I mean, you can look, but you're not getting my password. Somebody said, Teresa K said, yes, you can have access. Stephanie Bailey said, why should they? I'm not hiding anything and wouldn't allow him to see if he wanted, but what's the purpose?
You're right.
And that's what I agree with. I'm with Stephanie Bailey. I mean, you can have access. Anybody can pick my phone up and use it. I don't have that much stuff going on in my phone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But there are so many ways that you can delete and get rid of stuff all the time. I don't know why people don't understand how powerful delete is, how powerful whatever it is. You know, I just don't get that. And so putting yourself in a position, trust is big. Trust, you and I know trust is essential to anybody else. I would too, Stephanie. If he asked, I would hand him my phone with no problem. Yeah. You know, if my maid was like, let me see your phone for a second, I wouldn't have a problem with them seeing my phone. But I would want to know why he asked. Yeah. I would be curious about why did you ask for this? Because if we got a trust issue, baby, we got a different set of problems.
It's a whole other set of problems. I had a girl I went out with. She picked up my phone one day just to test me. She said, give me your code. I gave her my code. She logged in. She said, that's your code. I said, yeah, you got it. You asked for it, you got it.
Yeah.
But I don't have code anymore, so.
Yeah, no, and that's cool. I keep one because I don't want to lose my phone. Yeah. But the reality behind this came the basis of the relationship. If I cannot trust you, and I understand transparency, and I understand vulnerability, and I also understand if there's been some issues in the relationship, especially if you've been married, you might need to put some things in to safeguard. Yeah. But if you do that to feed your insecurities, we're gonna have a problem.
But even on that note, I mean, if you look into my phone. If I look into your phone, I'm pretty sure there are going to be guys reaching out to you. I'm pretty sure if I see that and that makes me mad, I'd be crazy because I know guys are going to reach out to you. I know things are going to happen like that. I expect things to happen like that. Why should I let those things bother me? Because I know the relationship you and I have, and that's really what's important.
But that's the problem. I think that social media, where for me the breakdown is, we're using it for validation and security of what we think is a successful relationship, or what we think is affirmation, or what we think is healthy. And it's like, stop using this as your baseline.
Exactly.
Stop using this for validation, and stop feeding your insecurities. If you already dealing with insecurities, you probably need a limited time on social media.
And please stay off of social media.
You need a limited time on social media.
Other work
you might need to just have Instagram or something. You may need to get your butt. Like, here's something funny. As much as I use social media, I'm not on social media a lot, and so I've even I've had somebody inbox me and ask me information, and I don't get back to them for 2 or 3 days because people assume, because I do coffee and conversation and all this, I'm always on social media. When I shut down social media in the morning,
done.
I am rarely back on social media. So you better text me or call me, or don't use this.
Things that you have to get done, that you're focused on, your day, your goals. I write down goals. I have goals
every day. Come on, Mark. Every day I got goals. Every day I got goals.
I know what I want to do. I know what I'm going to get accomplished that day. I know how I'm going to get it accomplished.
Yes.
So when I hit social media, and I'll go on there from time to time.
And scope and scan.
Check it out. Oh, I told y'all this was crazy. But when I sign off of it, man, I'm done with it. I finished what I got to finish. And when you come back and you say, man, you didn't see that post with such. No.
Yeah, I miss posts all the time. I don't even have notifications set up on my telephone.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I don't have notifications. So if you send me something, I won't see it. My messenger doesn't even give me notifications. I have to go check messenger.
Preach.
I have to go check messenger for notifications to see that somebody sent me something, because I don't. Realistically, my phone is usually on silent the majority of the day, so that I could stay focused. I'm just saying. And so my sign is, so I have to go pick up my phone and say, oh, somebody texted me, and people will say, I've been trying to get in touch with you. And I'm like, from this period to this period, I'm trying to do this. I check to see if my kids call. I have a separate line that my kids know if something's wrong to message.
Let the congregation say it.
Because social media has to, and being connected to people all of the time has just taken over our lives. And I don't think we realize how overwhelmed and consumed we are by what other people are thinking, what they look like, what they dress like. I dropped a picture the other day at my friend's birthday party. I had a little blue lipstick and this gold vest on. Okay, I dropped it on. And somebody inboxed me and said something. I was like, you don't even get me. And then later I dropped a picture and said, behind the scenes. Like, here's what my life looks like when I'm not out in public, when I'm not doing what I've been called to do.
Some of the wild things.
We were sitting in the house. Judah was at my hip. JoJo was on the floor doing homework. I had an ironing board over here. Laundry was right here. We were watching Polar Express. I was folding socks for the homeless.
Right.
That's what my life looks like behind the scenes. That's what my life looks like every day. When I come home, when I go home today, I'm sitting in my head talking to you, but I'm going, I think I'll bake them cookies for for their lunch for the week.
Cookies too, by the way.
Yeah, from scratch.
That's probably some stuff. I don't know about scratch. I like to go get the little.
No, I like from scratch.
I like to go get the little blueberry muffin mix and put the little blueberry muffin mix together and make muffins.
Oh, we're overtime.
Yeah.
This has been a good conversation. Yeah. We're overtime. But leave something. Leave them with something of how you feel, or just something that they can take with them just to adjust themselves. Because I'm going to tell you also, for those of you who want to figure out your productivity, if you'll figure out how productive you are, by how much time you spend on social media. My phone gauges how much time I've spent on Facebook, right? My phone gauges, forget you, Teresa Kate. She know I can't iron. My phone, I can't. I'll tell anybody, when you marry me, I'm just telling you, you're gonna have to iron. I can't iron. I put all my clothes in the dryer. So and I wear them out the house from the dryer. But my phone tells me how much I spent on Facebook. I look at that, and if it's what I know I did with coffee and conversations with marketing, I'm cool. My phone now gives me an announcement for the screen time, for like the amount of screen time. If I feel like my numbers, like last week I had like 8 hours of screen time on my phone. That's not bad, because I do 30 minutes, hour coffee and conversations. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, that's 4 hours, 5. That's good. So I'm gauging that. You got to watch that, because before you know it, social media will take over your life, your relationships. sometimes people, like I've seen people, if you text somebody and they don't text you back, they'll go search to see if you've been on social media.
That's wild. That is the wildest thing to me. You said leave.
And they'll see the last time that you've been on social media. Like I had somebody text me and say, you posted 15 minutes ago, but didn't respond to my text. And I said,
baby
like,
girl, you are the last thing I'm thinking about.
I was like, I posted because I needed to post something.
Right.
And then on my professional pages, I can schedule posts. So it just gets so scary.
Well, I mean, you talked about leave people with something. I'll tell you this, which is works. I learned this from a girl that I dated. Let me tell you something. Nothing ever takes the place of intimate time. Put your phone down.
That's good.
Get off social media.
That's good.
Stop texting. Sit down and have a conversation with somebody. Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
That intimate conversation, it's old school, I know, but it works. Sit down and actually have a conversation. You and I have had those. We've texted each other, and then at some point, I'll just be like, I'm calling.
Yeah, and you will. You'll call.
I'll call you, and we'll sit
FaceTime,
down.
I'll be like, you don't know if I'm
FaceTime.
driving.
Yeah,
Like,
FaceTime, and we'll just actually sit there and just talk to each other. And I'll be like, man, I can't believe this.
Yes.
That nothing can replace that. Social media can't replace that.
Yeah.
Pictures, likes,
Yeah.
none of that.
Yeah.
Smiley faces, hearts, whatever they're doing on Facebook
Yes.
can replace that one-on-one conversation with a friend, coworker, or somebody that you care about.
And I'm real big in that right now. I'm real big. I'm watching things shift and my perspective about, like, I used to just be a texter. Like, I would be like, just text me on, like, because I don't like talking on the phone a lot. And now, as I'm realizing the wealth of relationships, I'm like, man, I was on the phone with my girl before I pulled up. I'm like, I need to talk to people more. I need to spend time, because what if something happens and I don't know? You can also misinterpret something through a text message. I blunt dry text all the time because I'm usually working on something else, and I'll send you 1 word or 2 words or 3 words, and you'll gauge and think I'm being funny acting, and I'm not being funny acting. I just may be working on something at that time, and so I need to whatever. Oh, I love this. Monique, somebody said we need to do a part 2. Monique Martin Hickman said, take dating back to communication, bring slow dancing back. Monique, can I tell you something? I'm going to be much more interested, and that's why I tell people all the time, I'm going to be much more interested in dating you when you pick up that phone and call me.
Call me.
Like, I'm going to be much more interested in dating you when you don't just... when you really trying to intimately discover me and get to know me, man, I'm gonna be more. You're gonna capture my attention. I'm a writer. I'm a thinker. You know how I am. Yeah. You know, we get into some conversations that get deep. Conversations that sometimes can be 2.5, 3 hours. I'm gonna be invoked. You're gonna keep my attention. Yeah. When you. Conversate. I'm a sapiosexual. That's what the thing is. Words intrigue me. Words get my attention. Your words are gonna move me.
Because here's the thing: 10 minutes in a person's day may not seem like a lot of time, but a 10-minute phone conversation is way better than 2 or 3 text messages where I gotta sit up and try to read and understand what you mean.
She says soul to soul. That's it. And I can get a vibe. You can get a vibe on whether or not you really invite me in your space. Like, those are the things that are going to invoke something in me or say something. Somebody told me one time, they're like, I just don't think you're interested. And I'm like, you're trying to gauge my interest. Somebody said, hey, Mark, look.
See, that person right there grew up next door to me.
She knows.
So she grew up next door to me.
So Angela knows everything. Yes,
yeah, she knows all the.
She knows all the other stuff.
Yeah, she knows all.
But I'm gonna be more engaged, and if we would bring that back, I told them courtship, traditional values. I'm sorry, that's just kind of at the core of who I am. And so if you do that for me, you're gonna grab my attention faster than just a dumb "Good morning, beautiful" text. Like, I'm going to be like, oh, okay. I done got 10 of those today. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I done got 10. You done got 10 of those from 10 different people. Good morning, beautiful. But the pick up the phone call, you let me FaceTime you, let me see your face. You know, because there's a discovery process in dating. And you cannot discover a person via social media. You cannot gauge who I am via my social media. No. It's going to leave you in trouble.
Because people know my social media. I've looked at I'm like, people didn't know I cook. I like to cook.
Yeah, you do.
Said I've been
Breakfast
cooking
especially.
I'm a breakfast guy. I love to cook meals. That's just who I am.
I called you like, oh, Joey, what are you doing? You want some breakfast? Like,
Breakfast.
you want some
That's what I'm
sausage?
doing. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm making some sausage and biscuits. But
You
that's
get
real.
to know who I am. And
Yeah.
you knew who I was, and you know the type of person.
You have a love for your dog.
Right.
You know, you're not gonna discover that on social media.
He's
Yeah.
hard-headed, baby.
Like you're not gonna discover that on social media, but that's your baby.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's my
saying?
boy.
I'm there are some other things I do. Like I'm an outdoors girl. People don't know that. They don't. I like to hike. I like to zip line. I like to canoe. I want a garden now. Like I'm like,
Really?
oh yeah, I want a garden. I want to. Yeah, I know, but like those are things that you only learn from intimately getting to know someone and the validation you need. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. And I'm just so one of my friends said, good morning, beautiful, will get you blocked real quick. Wow. Will get you blocked real quick.
Happens.
Because you feel like everybody is already giving you this. I'm going to leave you with this, and I'm so serious. If you think you're going to get the validation that you need on social media, you're wrong. If you think your relationship is insufficient because the other person is not validating, is not posting you, then you're wrong. It does not mean you're having a successful relationship. If you think that by posting a person, that is going to keep the person from cheating, you're wrong. You're wrong. All of those things are not. Social media is going to bring attention to them. It's going to be a farce. Your dating and your relationships need to be way more private. They need to be solid. They need to be intimate. And they definitely don't need the approval of social media. And also, do not use I'm going to go old school. Don't use another relationship that you see on social media as relationship goals. I hate when people say that. Relationship goals.
You may not even do what they do. Stop.
You may know that. You may not know that they're killing each other behind scenes. People have been in domestic violence situations for years. Watch Snap. Watch Snap.
People kill each other all the time.
People kill each other all the time, and people are like, and when you see the comments, they're like, oh my gosh, we didn't even know that they were having problems. So don't hashtag relationship goals anymore until you know the thick of it all. Don't even use that as a measurement for your relationship. Your goals should be the goals that you set in place. They should be with healthy boundaries. They should be with clear limitations. Right? And they should be, if you're just dating, I'm just going to say this to you, they should be a period full of discovery. And they should be a period of exploring. You did?
I wrote about that in my book.
Yeah, and what did you say about that?
About that in discovery.
Yes.
About getting to know people.
Yes.
Spend that time getting to know a person, because like you said earlier, you don't know. I may have been mean in another relationship.
Yeah.
I may have had other problems in that relationship, but in the relationship I have with you, it's beautiful.
So good. So since we almost on an hour anyway, we might as well close it out. It's an hour. That's big. No, I'm just saying that's big. That's really big of what you said. And here's why I'm going to tell you that's big. I truly believe I can invoke something in someone that someone never may do. I may bring the best out of someone. And so for those of y'all that had a bad relationship, y'all stop hating on their new relationships and stop bringing that to somebody, because y'all just may not have been good together.
And quit thinking that because you had a bad relationship, there are people that stay in relationships now just for the sake of staying in relationships, because they don't want other people saying anything negative about them. But I'm gonna tell you something. When I mentioned the people that I wrote a book, which I have, but when I talk about in the book in relationships, and it's called Welcome to the Game. But when I talk about in these relationships that keep people out of your relationships, I mentioned that don't let those outside interferences determine who you are.
Come on now.
People who fail at relationships,
yes,
you learn. They're learning situations. My marriage, divorce, but I learned so much.
Come on now.
I learned what I didn't do right.
Yes.
I learned what I did do right. And I tell people who feel like I can't be the person to tell you about a good relationship, I tell them all the time, find me a millionaire or one that is successful, a successful businessman.
Yes.
And let that person tell you that they never made a mistake getting to the top.
And they'll tell you wrong.
They'll be telling you wrong.
No.
You fail over and over and over again. That's how you become successful.
And I tell people all the time, if you've never been married, I don't want to hear relationship advice. Even if you've been married and it's not been a good relationship, right? But you can come tell me, these are the mistakes I made. I learn from each relationship I'm engaged in. And also for me, one of the things that I always say is, I evolved so quickly. How I was 3 weeks ago,
How I am now.
It's not me who I am now, because I'm forever learning myself. I'm very self-aware. I listen to my close friends and family members who say certain things to me, and I take a note of those, and I use that for growth and development. So who you met 3 weeks ago may not be who you are today. Somebody gave me some sound advice a few weeks ago, and I'm using it right now in the dating process, in the hanging out process, in whatever, and it's working for me. But they helped me. Somebody said something to me earlier today, and I said, let me look at this, because I don't want your evaluation of me to make me be haughty or be like, that ain't me. No, you may have a valid point.
Right.
And then I'm going to say this. If you keep attracting the same type of person,
it's probably you.
Okay, come on.
It's probably you. That's just the way it is. You have to go after a different type. And if you change yourself, then you probably change the people you're around. I stopped hanging around a lot of the people that I hung around before. I started to hang around the people that knew me the most, knew me the best.
Yeah.
And then the people that I work with, the people that I took advice from, are people that have lived the life.
Yes.
And I don't necessarily look at their relationship and gauge what I want my relationship to look like.
Yes.
But what I do take is things that they say that should, I like to say, I don't want to use the word I use, but
yeah, don't use
I'll just say this: whack stuff. Quit letting whack stuff run your life. When you get to a point where, I talk to a coworker of mine and I say, well, how do you deal with this? And one thing she always says is, I don't even worry about that. Really? Yeah. Your husband's not even on social media?
Yes.
Not even on social media, and I don't even care. And I'm
Yeah.
like, really? Like, yeah.
And what do I do about it? I mean, and I don't, I was dating someone who really wasn't on social media. It was the best thing for me ever. And then he started getting amped up on social media. I was so mad. I was so mad. He had 200 friends when we started hanging out.
And then
I loved it. Then he started accepting all these friend requests. And I was like, dude, he did not have a Facebook page. I was like, dude, you were so low key. What happened? I loved it. And the reason that I loved it, because I felt like it was protecting the privacy of our relationship. I love the fact he was low key. I love low key people.
If I got an hour of time to spend on social media, that's an hour of time
for
taken away from you.
Yes, that's an hour of time for us. That's an hour of time that we could have spent doing something together. Even if it was just FaceTiming, right? Laughing, talking trash, living life. That's a period. Again, if you're just dating, that's a period of discovery.
How many times do I just mess with you and I'll go, top 9?
Yeah, all the time. It's stuff about my hair. He's always interested in what my hair is going to look like for that day. You got top 9. At first you called it a little ball.
Yeah, the ball.
Remember, and I text you back and say, it's not a ball, it's top 9.
So now I know, and every time I go up, top knot, look at this.
Yeah, you got a top knot today. Or he said, don't put your hair in them little plaits on the side.
Yeah, the little plaits on the side. That's got that old Bye Felicia look.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying, and but those are more personal than just a like, than just a DM. Using social media just to check on people. I've had people say, well, I see you post. I know you're doing okay because I've made a post. Especially for those of us that are in business, you and I have suffered great loss. Because you've seen me post does not mean I'm okay. Stop gauging that. I'm going to leave you with this. A friend of mine, I heard a lady say one time, she will not even think about dating someone if their page is private.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I sometimes I understand the privacy. I didn't know people at first could save your pictures off Facebook.
They can.
Oh, I know that now because somebody one time sent me some pictures and was like, this is a while back. They were like, these are my favorite pictures of you. And I said,
where'd you find those pictures?
I said, where'd you get them from? Well, you posted them a long time ago and I have them in a file. And so I was like, a file. So what do you do with this file? You know what I'm saying? So what do you do with this file? And so it just became really weird for me. But here it is, you admired me, and I didn't even know you admired me.
You could have just said something.
When you could have just said, baby, I admire you. I'm watching you do your thing. I love the way you rocking out. You feel me? Your hair looks good today. Your makeup look good today. You've been saving pictures of me in a file instead of saying something. And I think that's what we're letting social media speak or gauge and interpret things for us, and it shouldn't be the interpretation for us. Monique said a stalker. I don't know. It was definitely different. Well, Mark, thank you for spending this time with us.
Always.
Well, definitely. Somebody said we need to do it too. I think we need to. I want to do a battle of the sexes.
That's fine.
I think I want you to co-host that with me.
I'll do that.
And we bring in 4 women and 4 men. And we just do a battle, like a conversation, pick some topics, pick some questions.
Or you pick some questions.
Yeah, or you guys pick some questions. Mm-hmm. Let us banter back and forth and see what this like. Because one of my friends brought up something big the other day. He said, I want you, if you're going to talk about social media, dating, and relationships, he said, I need you to tell all women, stop assuming. Stop assuming things about that we feel or we think as men. And one of the things he said was, stop assuming you're a good woman.
Boom.
Oh, he said that. He said, stop assuming you're a good woman. Stop.
Because you can say it on your page all day long. I'm a good woman. I'm going to make somebody a great wife.
Yes. He said that.
With your single self.
With your single self. And he said, you don't know that you may not be what that person needs, or you may not be that good of a person, or you may not know where your issues are because you won't let nobody tell you what your issues are. Mm-mm. And he brought that up, and I was like, man, I need to do like a battle of the sexes and talk about this. He was like, he said, I want y'all to do it. He said, or assuming, and I'm big on that. Stop assuming you anything about the opposite sex, because each person is an individual. Each person is different. A lot of times we don't even know what a person is like. Nope. Like I was at home cleaning and somebody was like, you domesticated? And I was like...
Or somebody saw me at the grocery store and said, you buy your own groceries?
Yeah.
I was like, who gonna buy them for me?
I was like, who cleans my house if I'm not? And I'm anal about my house being clean. So who cleans my house if I'm not being domesticated? It was just a really weird conversation. But that came from what they saw. They thought I was so honed in on being professional. And I was like, that's cool, but that's the least of who I am. I'm family more than anything.
Send us the comments, questions, what you would want to know, and we definitely can do that.
Yeah, send us comments, send us questions, give us feedback. Thank you guys for giving us this hour with Real Talk with LMJ. You have been really, really dope. This will be uploaded on Anchor, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, all of those great. Yeah, those great outlets. Somebody said, LMJ, I will get with you. I got some donations for your ministry. Oh, love that. Love that. Most definitely. If somebody wanted to reach you to host, because I know you do that, host an event, how can they get in touch with you?
Actually, the best way is probably, I'm on Twitter all the time. Mark Edwards 1906. If you do the Instagram thing, MarkE1906, you can do that. Or you can just email me, marke4j@gmail.com.
Yeah, marke4j. And we'll put that information up for you in just a second. He's a great